As soon as I click that, Frankie starts getting all sniffly. It's good to know. Right, so we're going here. We're live. This is working. This is episode 1 of the Bit of Banter Bobcast. Are we going to call it?
Sounds okay to me.
Let's go with that then. I'm actually loving the picture Frankie's got up here. I know he says that's not actually his Skype picture anymore.
It's not?
I love it. I think it's class.
So why is that showing up if it's not current?
I don't know. I think it's because I'm getting a lot of delay.
Oh.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of repeats here. No, I'm now hearing the conversation.
Yeah, you're
2 minutes ago.
If you're watching it on the stream as well, Frank, you're supposed to mute the stream because there is an intentional 30-second delay.
Sorry, that was my fault.
Yeah, because Twitch is basically set up as a gaming.
I understand. Channel. I just forgot to unmute it or to mute it there with a picture. What I was saying there, I think I set that up on the phone. Actually, no, the way I'm looking at it looks like I'm looking at the laptop, so I don't know why it saved it, because when I'm logged on this Skype, it shows a different picture.
Yeah, the picture that I'm seeing on Skype for you, Frank, is different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I look a bit mental on it.
I think it's actually quite appropriate because, see, this is the Frankie that I know. Everybody sees the professional Frankie, you know. I'm a worker. I'm the hard guy. I'm like, you know, I'm very
motherfucker.
But no, this is who I see. Like every time I look at him, I just think Frankie. Like,
and that's why you keep coming back, isn't it?
That's the reason.
Yeah.
So it's probably a good idea at this point to introduce each of us. We only have 3 people in the chat today, but we will be joined over the next few weeks by some more friends of ours.
Hopefully.
Cool. Yeah, that's the plan. And yeah.
And at the minute, just like I say, to introduce us then, I'm Tom, and I'm a broke ass student that doesn't do much with his days. So I thought, why not go and chat to people and pretend like I'm doing something. And this is Frank.
Like that. That's good to know. This is Frank. I'm not a broke student. I'm just broke. I've been described as someone who lets on to be a gamer, but I'm not actually a gamer, so I don't know how to get that. So my forte onto this is I like my science fiction and things like that. So basically, because my name's Kirk, so I was kind of forced into the whole kind of sci-fi foray, and then became a geek. So anything like that I like, so it's okay.
Awesome. And this is Michael.
Hello, yes, Michael here. I'm also broke, but I'm not a student. A big comic book collector, TV fan more than movies. When it comes to comics, it's Marvel. When it comes to TV, I watch a lot of genre stuff, sci-fi, fantasy, etc. But I also watch cop shows, sitcoms, everything, anything under the sun. I'm a voracious TV collector as well, and I'm not a gamer. So this is all new to me. Twitch being a gaming dedicated kind of environment is what I can see. But yeah, games are never been my thing. Just because I devote my free time to, as I say, comic books, and if I ever conquer the need to sleep and I get those extra 7 hours a day, then I'll probably explore games and possibly, I don't know what else, grown up real life relationships maybe, who knows. But as it is,
I heard of those.
Yeah, I've heard of those too. Yeah.
Talking about what you said there about your comic books and things like that, I think the 3 of us are kind of like that. But I also have a big collection of comics as well. Haven't read any in about 10 years. To be quite honest with you, I'd love to get back into it, but I feel like I just don't have the time, which is my excuse why I don't game.
It's time is the issue. Okay, I was just going to say why. Like, I was just curious.
Yeah, well, the last storyline I ever remember reading is Spider-Man, the Book of Ecosel by Straczynski. I don't remember much after that. I have just ordered Old Man Logan to kind of get my taste buds going again.
Oh, I'm stealing that off you.
Yeah, no, they're all first editions as well, and I got them for £8.
Nice. Actually, I've got an awful feeling as well, because you know what my collection is like. because Frankie and myself were both ordering comic books at the same time for a long
Yeah.
time, and the way we were getting them was this was back in the days before you could set up
We got
an
them
order with a
shit.
shop.
We got them cheap as shit.
Exactly. So
It was great.
we were getting in multi collections of stuff, and basically we were both working at the time. We didn't have time to sit down and read them, so there are boxes full of this stuff that we don't even know what either of us has in
Yeah.
most of the stuff.
Wow, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
I know. I got onto a bit of a habit of just buying hardbacks after a while and just buying signed comics. So I'm sitting there with like Superman Forever signed. I've got a lot of PCG stuff and things like that. So I don't even know if any of my stuff's worth anything at all. A couple of Stan Lee stuff.
And this, folks, is the reason why we're all broke. And just to let you know, eventually we'll be putting like advertising down here where we'll be looking for everybody to just come in and give us free money. Please,
Yep,
please give us money.
Yeah.
We're
Go
broke.
fund me by the banter.
Yeah, exactly.
You had
So-
me at free money, yeah. That's yeah. I'm very pro free money, giving it and receiving it. Yeah.
Oh, you communist.
So there's a possibility that I might actually have that old man Logan from the original Wolverine series sitting around somewhere.
Well, it only came out last year, so
No, the trade paperback only came out last year, but it's based on like a four-story arc, I think
Yeah.
it is. In the
5
original
story.
Wolverine.
5
story,
parts.
is it? 5 part?
Yeah, last year, was it a couple of months ago, I picked up The Death of Wolverine as well, so those are two kind of real stories I want to sit down and read. I've got that in hardback.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I want to read because the next Wolverine film that they're expecting to come out.
Oh, man, Logan.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
they're thinking that's where they're going to be going with it.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I heard that or read that or something like that.
it's going to be R-rated as well, which is something I wanted to tie onto something Michael wanted to talk about, which was Batman v Superman as well. Like so.
Ooh, yes. But we'll talk about that in a bit.
Sorry, I was just taking a drink of my coffee there. Sorry, because it's something that I wasn't immediately going to jump onto. It was just a reference there because we mentioned it. That's all. That's all.
Yeah, I threw it. Well, I threw it out as something we could talk about later on. Yeah, definitely. I mean, we can talk about it really, but
Well, I think
it's one of those things it's not far away now. It's only like a couple of weeks away, so it's on the it's on the radar. But
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
sorry, continue with your.
well, one of the things that it does not seem to want to be coming up right now for some reason. But let me just see if I can adjust this and bring it up on the screen.
Yeah.
There are quite a few films that are going to be coming out now over the next few months. And actually quite a few that have come out already, and damn, this does not seem to be working. So while I'm working through the technical difficulties here, we've already had 3 films come out so far. We had Ant-Man in the summer of last year.
Yes.
We had Fantastic Four, and we very recently had Deadpool come out, which I think both of you have both seen Deadpool, haven't you?
Yes. Oh God, yeah, I've seen that.
Bam, 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 bam. Can't get that out of my head since I've seen it. That's the only thing I don't like about that film is that fucking 3-string fucking music.
What are you talking about?
And when you go through it, right, it's very subtle. During the action scenes and stuff like that, there, all you get is bam, 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 in between music. And that was the only thing that was doing my head on. Other than that, I absolutely loved it.
Was that around about the maximum effort parts of the film?
Yeah, so every time there was a big fight scene and things like that, even the chase scenes and all from the start, it was there. And I stupidly was thinking, Jesus, are they going to play Michael Jackson's Beat It here? You know?
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So, but it was just annoying. It was kind of slightly off-putting for reasons that nobody else will understand or kind of care about, or because I'm a wee bit mental. And can you take that picture down of me?
No, I love this picture. This picture is awesome.
So
I told you, like, if you wanted to change it in such a way where you were going to be coming on camera at some point, that's perfect.
I'll probably will come on camera at some point. Maybe not during this one. I mean, I'll get me new Harry Potter glasses next week, so so might look a little bit sexy.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait a week. I can't wait a week for that.
I'll send you some pictures, Michael. Don't you worry.
Ooh, I like the sound of this.
This is almost as good as the free money you were promising.
I'll tell you. Next, I'll be on one of those video campsites.
Well,
You
when
know?
you have the technology now, it's all set up for you. So
I do.
you know,
But less about my wanting to be a cam model aspirations.
because you're always talking about that, Frankie. We're just sick of hearing about it.
Yeah.
That's so here. That's what people say. I think it's Tom letting on to be me. Really, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah.
You know, because you have the time, because being a student and things like that. So
Yeah, I know it's an important part of my day trying to be you, trying to make
like
it you in every way.
Frankie.
Yeah, it's like being able to pull the face like that is like the hardest part of it.
Nobody can pull a face like that. That's better than Zoolander. There, it's better than Blue Steel.
It kind of is, isn't it?
It's better than Blue Steel and Magnum put together.
That's a good question. Actually, have either of you guys seen Zoolander 2 yet?
Don't want to.
Steve, Mike,
I haven't. I won't be in a great rush. Well, are you a fan? Were you a fan of the first one? Yeah.
I became a fan of the first one because everybody kept talking about it. You know, it was one of those cult classics. It's like, oh, it's really funny. You have to watch it. And then when you watch it, it's shit. And the only reason why I actually did like it is because it has Michael Jackson's Beat It on it, and that was funny. That's pretty much it. And I hear the second one's not that good.
I hear the second one's not that good either. I liked the first one well enough. It was quite old when I saw it. I was going out with a girl who was a huge fan of it. She introduced me to it, and it was blown up out of all proportion. So it didn't meet up to the expectations I had, but I liked it, and I like the cast. I like Stiller. I like the guys.
I do like Ben Stiller.
Yeah, a lot, but he does also do a lot of bad movies.
True.
Yes.
I don't know why he does that. He's dangerously becoming like Adam Sandler.
Yes, yeah. Oh, yeah. I shudder to think, but you're right. You are right.
Yeah.
Well, did he really have a lot of good films to start with, though?
Well, it's not the fact whether he has good films. I mean, he is a good actor. I mean, at least some of the stuff is funny. I mean, he does stupid crap like Duplex and stuff like that. I can't remember the English name. That was the American name for it. By Drew Barrymore. I just like watching them on the film. I don't care if the film's shite.
No, I did try watching Duplex at one point, and it was quite difficult. It was kind of like a bad rip off of what do you call that film that Tom Hanks was in? I think with Goldie Hawn, where they buy a house.
Turner and Hooch, wasn't
it? No, that's called the dog.
They buy a house.
Yeah, Homeowners is it or something like that? You call it, and basically the house starts falling apart.
You're talking about Money Pit.
Money Pit, that's it. Yes.
Oh, the old. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
was it Shelley Long was in that? No.
Shelley Long, that's it. Yeah. It was kind of like a modified remake of that from the way I would take it, mixed with a couple of other different stories in there. But the premise of it being they buy a property, it's not exactly what they expected. But in this one, it's not because the property's falling apart; it's because of the upstairs neighbor.
Yeah, I never thought about it like that. So, which is well. I was going to say something there, but I can't remember now.
Well, I was trying to bring up a list, and like I say, I'm still having technical difficulties with this here. Trying to
is it the superhero list that you have?
It is, yes. I can't seem to bring it up for some reason.
It's just a list of all the superhero films coming out between now and.
Okay. Yeah.
It's all the Marvel ones, isn't it?
It's Marvel, DC. It's basically everybody. Fox is in there as well with their own films.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm still kind of just working away at this in the background at the same
time. While you're doing that, we'll go back to your original thing anyway with the three films. I mean, with Ant-Man and Shitastic Four.
Yes. Well said. Well said. Yes.
What was the other one?
Deadpool.
Well, yeah, Deadpool.
Deadpool. See, even saying Shitastic Four is kind of putting my thought process off. That was the best analogy I could come up with, so I couldn't think of anything after that at all. But Ant-Man, I loved Ant-Man. I'm glad I got to see it in the pictures. It was months before I seen it, but when I was over in the States seeing the wee man, it was in one of those dollar cinemas, and I'm really glad I seen it because I really loved it. But it's not good for repeated viewings.
No.
Really?
No.
Yeah, it's not. I'm finding that with a lot of films now. It's fantastic on the big screen, or it's even fantastic for the first time you watch it, but after that, it's just not good with repeat viewing. Maybe that says more about me than the film itself, but yeah, that's what I start to find really now.
No, I do
I
think it
saw it.
is.
I saw it a couple of times. I saw it a couple of times in the cinema. I haven't seen it since I saw it in the cinema, and I loved it too. Like I would give it 10 out of 10 without
Yeah.
hesitation because it was a fresh take on a Marvel movie in that it was smaller, not
Yes.
not smaller pun wise, but it really was.
And it had, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Michael. I do apologise.
Go on, go on. No, what
I was
I
going to say
did.
it had one of my favourite childhood heroes. It had Thomas, and not the ginger one we're looking at. So,
But it was just, and it was also so funny.
yes,
Different kind of
Well.
humor to Deadpool, but it was, and it was also very much an ensemble movie. I'm looking at my old review here. That's why I went back on I blog a lot, so I have a film review blog. So yeah, one of the things I remember about it, I'm reading here, was that it's very much an ensemble film as well, because there was a lot of screen time for about 3-4 different characters, which is also not what I was expecting.
yeah. I mean, when you saw kind of seeing the Avengers building for the first time, I was like, whoa! And then we got Falcon. That was a bit of a disappointment to me, because I don't really like Falcon.
Oh,
So I don't,
that's harsh. Why don't
oh
you
my
like
God,
Falcon?
I don't know. It's not the fact that I don't like Anthony Mack or anything like that, because I mean he's a good actor. I've just watched him on the Adjustment Bureau there the All Night again, which I haven't seen since the cinema.
Yeah.
Which is a really good show, so you should actually check that out too. I don't know. It's like we can't get anybody else here. Have fun.
Well, I presume that was the reality of it. I presume that was the reality of having him. I like him well enough. Is it Falcon in the movies you don't like, or do you like? What about in the comic books? Have you read much Falcon in the comic books back in the years gone by? Okay,
No,
I'm doing a thing at the moment where I'm reading all the 70s Marvel comics. I've pretty much read everything of Captain America from like 71 through to 78, 79 over the last 3-4 years, as well as other titles. And I like Falcon well enough, but I think he's kind of not needed as a character in Captain America.
Aye.
Him and Captain America throughout the 1970s, which is where I'm reading from, they're constantly bickering and fighting, and Falcon seems to have a chip on his shoulder constantly about not being as good as Captain America, which gets old after like 10 issues. But I like him well enough in the movies, and I agree that he was probably an Ant-Man because, practically speaking, getting
they just wanted
Iron
to
Man,
make it.
it just wasn't practical to get anyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And talking about Iron Man, I really wish they would do another Iron Man movie.
Well,
I would
wasn't there
love
word
one,
about
yes.
it? I mean,
Sorry,
they were talking about an Iron Man 4. for a while
Yeah,
there.
that was about last I heard about 2 years ago. Was 1 minute they were doing it, the next minute Downey said no. But he signed up for all the Avenger films. So I would like them to do another standalone, really, because the rest of the stuff they're putting out, I don't think I have much interest in it. I mean,
Really?
yeah, it's like I'm kind of half looking forward to the next Thor film, but I was disappointed with Thor 2.
Oh, I loved Thor 2, so
But
I'm
I
well
loved
psyched.
I loved the first one.
I preferred the
Sorta.
second one, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of I get the feeling of what do you call that film? Riddick. Chronicles of Riddick.
From the second film.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I
That
know you're
could-
Vin Diesel.
Yeah, it could have just been really more from the alien landscapes.
It's the design now. That's what it's from, and I really enjoyed Chronicles of Riddick, which I didn't expect to enjoy.
Yeah.
Because I love Pitch Black as well, but I think it was because of Carl Urban, really, and that. But I don't know. I'm a kind of very mixed bag kind of person. I'll kind of like the idea of something, and then I'll go off it pretty fast, and things like that.
I think the original Thor film, I mean, I'll be honest, I quite like the character of Thor, but I don't think that either of the Thor films were really fantastic. But putting them in comparison to each other, I think the second one was definitely a lot better. First one coming out really more as a quirky, let's get introduced to a character that, in the scape of the Marvel films that we have at the moment, making him as plausible as possible. And the first film was good in that respect, but that's great when you spend most of the film making the idea of it plausible. It doesn't exactly give you much of a film to work with then on top of that. So they didn't you didn't have
But
a
it's the
lot to go
classic
with.
origin story. I mean,
Yeah.
I agree that was true of Thor, but a lot of those superhero movies fall into that trap of having to establish the hero or the world of the hero.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even looking at the Batman v Superman film that's going to be coming out, I mean, they're going back to the Batman origin again as well.
Yeah, I don't know why they keep feeling like they have to tread old ground on that. I'm getting more psyched about it by the day. At the start, it was kind of like, yeah, it looks good, but I don't really think it's going to be really well done. And the more people you see being involved on it, and then the trailers came out that made reveals, it was kind of like, oh no. And I can't stand your man as Lex Luthor.
Really?
Yeah,
Why?
I don't like him. No. Jesse Eisenberg, no.
I'm
Wrong
hoping that
choice.
what we've seen so far in the film, in the trailers, is just it's a very basic representation of the character.
I hope so.
I'm hoping they don't turn him into like an original 1970s version of the character. And obviously they're supposed to be moving more towards the mad scientist idea in this, which is
Yeah.
great. He's not just like the Kevin Spacey version of it, where it's all about real estate. I'm glad they've moved away from that, but again, he does seem quite comedic in the trailers themselves. But
Definitely.
I think when we get into the film, or at least I'm hoping when we get into the film, we're going to have a darker and deeper character than that. Because
Yeah.
if we're just going to take the trailers from the value that we see on the screen, then again, and you guys have heard me saying this so many times, fuck it because of Ben Affleck's smirk, right? I'll just say, take his smirk and he can get the hell out of the film, 'Cause that's not Batman for me.
Yeah, talking about his smirk, has anybody seen the Jimmy Kimmel sketch?
Yes.
Yes, that was actually quite excellent.
That was
Loved
really
it.
well done.
Yeah.
Loved
So
it.
it was.
Loved it. Loved it. Very
Especially
funny.
especially at the end, it was really really good. So it was. But with Batman, I mean, it looks like they're trying to pack too much onto it. I'm sorry, I get
Yes.
put off because every time I look at the screen, I'm seeing Tom talking about something from ages ago on the delay. So
Well, don't look at the screen then.
I'm trying not to, but I can't stop looking at
I know I'm gorgeous.
Michael's caricature as well. Um, but-
That too is also gorgeous.
what I'm actually looking forward to, I hate the way they've done, spoilers ahead, Doomsday. Everyone's seen the trailer, everyone's going, right, we think we know what it is, it's Zod. But the fact now that they have announced an R cut, that's what I'm most excited for.
Oh, the R-rated one, is that what you're...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because we're going to get more. In the 2.5 hours they have, there's going to be too much stuff packed on. It's not going to be fleshed out enough. I don't know why they're just not putting the two in the cinema at once.
Well, my reaction when I saw the R-cut thing come out, it was during the week, was it? Or
Yeah,
it's
it
just
was
over
just
the
last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Yeah, I was like, is that just a knee-jerk reaction to the success of Deadpool?
Well, according to Snyder, no. According to it is to do with the success, but it's not like a knee jerk. They're saying that it's something that they were going to do anyway, because they want both adults to enjoy it as well as kids. It is good. It is a kids' film. At the end of the day, it's a superhero film, but it's because he's doing what he did with Watchmen, and that kind of makes me look forward to it because I mean the director's cut of Watchmen was so much better than the theatrical cut.
Okay, I've not seen the director's. I quite enjoyed the theatrical cut. I mean, yeah, it was okay, and I wouldn't be familiar at all with the comic book. But I saw the movie, and I was like, yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
But I've heard, that the other version is superior.
It is. It is superior, but then I suppose it all comes down to personal preference as well. Really, if you want to put that extra time into it, as well. But I've confidence in him with this. I mean, you had Watchmen, and then every other film he's done after that's kind of been pants.
Yeah, what was your take on Man of Steel?
Man of Steel was just Superman 1 and 2 redone over again. Which
Tom,
seems
what
to
do you
be-
think?
Well, I mean, like when you're talking about his past films, you would have looked at Watchmen And I think when we walked out of the cinema, the first thing I turned around and said to you, Frankie, was, so, you guys were asking each other what you thought of it. And you're kind of giving each other opinion. You asked me, and I said just that, a lot of blue cock. And I think whenever it comes to the Superman film, Man of Steel, just a lot of blue tint, really, in the film. I think they were trying to create more an atmosphere with the film than actually giving it much of a story.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where it fell short, because you saw a fantastic and epic trailer, one of the best superhero trailers I've seen for a long time coming out whenever they put out the Man of Steel trailer originally. And it got everybody so hyped up, it was like the Phantom Menace the first time it came out. And again, unfortunately, we had the same reaction afterwards. A lot of people going out going, it was great. And a lot of people coming out going, well, not quite as good as I would have expected it to be.
Wow.
Yeah, I was in that camp because I'm not a DC reader. I'm a Marvel reader. Although in total, I've probably read 20, 30 Superman comics. I read the John Byrne miniseries of the late 80s, and I read a good chunk, 20, 30 issues then of the regular series. I was able to get them really cheap from a place called Comic Warehouse back in the 90s. But I
remember that, yeah.
Yeah, it was great. Oh, I picked up so many great comics there. But I wasn't a huge Superman fan. My passion for Superman comes from TV shows. There was a brilliant TV series called Superboy, which was essentially Superman.
I was waiting on you saying that, Michael.
Yeah, I remember that.
I love that show. I have it on DVD. A passionate, a great take on the character. And I loved shows like Lois and Clark. Didn't get into Smallville at all, gave up after the pilot. But as somebody who's, that was my background, I saw the trailer and I was looking forward to that movie. And then because Man of Steel was kind of storyless or took too long to get to the story, I came out, and again I'm looking at my old review here, and I gave it 4 out of 10, which is kind of less than average for me. It's kind of, once you go below 5, 4, 6 or 5, I'm kind of, and I was more disappointed with it, and I was particularly unhappy, and this is the thing that everybody says, particularly unhappy with that third act and the amount of carnage and death and destruction that Superman didn't seem concerned about or didn't try to stop, or it just didn't make sense for me and my understanding of the Superman character that he would.
Yeah, I mean, even if you look back to, I know obviously it wasn't anything really to do with the original Superman films in the 70s and in the 80s, but if you were to look back at the first time we saw General Zod in a film, and one of the first things that Superman did in that film, which is great for the character, was realize the potential for a lot of destruction, took the fight away from a populated area. First thing this guy does, just starts a beatdown.
Big difference.
Yeah. Now, you can say that that's because there's lack of experience, and that's fair enough, but I think they spent too much of the film trying to create the, I suppose, the emotional purpose of the character. His background, his solitude, the whole thing with his family, the reason why he does things. But there's far too much time spent with it. It wasn't necessary, and in the end, he did just come down to. It kind of felt like. Do you remember the Incredible Hulk film, where they did so much of the trying to show the character and why he had his psychological problems.
This is the Eric Bana one.
The Eric Bana one, yeah. And it felt like it was rushed at the end where, oh look, we need to get a bad guy, throw him in and have a third act and lots of destruction and carnage. And it felt rushed. It felt like 2/3 of the film was too washed out, and the last was too compact.
I'll be back in a wee second here, Gilad, okay?
Yeah,
cool.
Sorry.
Cool. Tom, I agree completely. Now, I love that first Hulk movie, but I am, even though that's because I love the character passionately, and I've read probably more Hulk than anything else, maybe except Spider-Man, but I'm well aware of its flaws, and that fight sequence, and that Hulk fights a cloud ending, which was kind of not good.
Well, he did work up from dogs to a cloud, you got to give him that.
Massive dogs. But taking on, I completely agree with your take on Man of Steel as well, because if you were to put it down to the characters, as you said, the character Superman attacked him straight away, and you could say, right, he's inexperienced. I would accept that, and I agree with you. if there was some indication in the script and in the direction from Snyder that that was the intent, you could make that part of the narrative.
Yeah, exactly.
But the ending was, it was really was so, that final couple of scenes, there seemed to be none of the characters seemed to be aware of the consequence of what had happened, and it's all seemed like only the audience now was aware of it. And in retrospect, we were told that, the second movie is going to deal with that, and that was always the plan. But I don't believe that. I honestly think that they're listening to the backlash, because I saw a lot of reviews which said, carnage, 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 didn't seem like Superman cared. Is that the Superman that we traditionally know? Is that the way he behaves? So I'd be quite open to the idea of him being inexperienced, but then make that the story as opposed to just some kind of thing we notice in the narrative, because that's very different,
Sorry, Frankie's decided he wanted to jump the camera for a second so that he doesn't actually look that stupid. Go ahead.
It's supposed to be. Hi. Hi, Michael.
I'm looking at I had the feed muted, or not muted, but I had the window down. I'm just looking at you, Tom, now again.
It'll be up in about another 10 seconds or so. You'll see it there.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a bit of a delay. Hi, Kelder, by the way. Sorry about that. There is a little bit of a delay in the chat, unfortunately. So it's something that we have to deal with.
Oh, there he is. Sorry, I see, yes. Wow, that's quite a delay with the video, yeah.
Yeah, it is. I've tried to bring it down, but it's somewhere around about 30 seconds. I think it's just for the gaming aspect, to stop ghosting and such.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I just caught myself as I came back out here to sit down.
must be quite surreal for you, Frankie.
Not really, nah. Kind of a disappointment.
Isn't that one of the moments in the Twin Peaks movie? Isn't that the whole thing of Twin Peaks? The movie?
Never seen it.
Ah, okay. There's a sequence where the hero is doing a test. I think it's on YouTube and it's David Bowie walking past a camera. It's hard to explain, but it's kind of like I think the best way to explain it is the security cameras are picking up something that isn't there. It's like David Bowie walking around. I'm really explaining this really badly. Just ignore me.
It's okay. I do plan to watch Twin Peaks at some point because I know they're doing a season 3. Mm-hmm. What's putting me off Twin Peaks is its first season's like a 22 episode season. I don't think
the first one's short. The first one is 8, but you're right. The second one is the second one is a full season.
That's kind of what puts me off shows these days. Is 22 episodes.
Yeah.
It's too long. I mean, how did we do it back in the day? Watch 22 episodes of a crappy season of something.
I think it was because we had a tendency to ignore the fact that there were a lot of filler episodes, and you can see that quite evidently these days in fans of The Walking Dead. People who are still watching that show and still say, yeah, it's worth watching, but really, what is it? I mean, it was like between 8 and 12 episodes per series or something.
And that's 13.
Is it 13?
I think it's between 13 and 16. I started watching the season 3.
Yeah, it's one of those shows where it was pretty easy to see from about the third series onwards that was just going to become the recurring pattern of you would have 2 fantastic episodes, 2 okay episodes, and everything else was just a lot of filler. In fact, you can go to there's websites like honesttrailers.com and stuff like that where they're showing you exactly what it is, and that's it. It's a majority of it is find a new place, meet new people, find out it's not as great as they think it was, and then they have to move away again, but with a lot of episodes in between and then just walking.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, at the end of the day as well, I mean, I know you haven't seen Smallville, Michael, but that's
but I was thinking of it there. I'll when you finish your thought, I'll say something about Smallville. Continue.
Yeah, no, just what Tom says there. I mean, a lot of filler episodes. That's kind of what Smallville became.
One of my best friends would be a fan of it, and that was what I remember. He stuck with it to the end, and we chat about it, and he'd always be like, the last 4 episodes have been rubbish, but I'm hanging in there because I know there'll be a good one. And then there would be a good one.
See, from about season 4 onwards, that's the way it is. I mean, the first couple of seasons is brilliant. The build-up to the end of each season is really good, but kind of then goes away from it at the start of the next season. Christopher Reeves was on it at the start in season 2. The storyline that they were going to do with him was really good.
Yeah.
And unfortunate that he passed. I mean, I'd love to. I really want to. I'd say Rosetta is one of my favourite episodes. And going back to your love of Superman, of why you know Superman, it's Christopher Reeves for me.
Oh yeah, I mean, I left that out, and it was an oversight. I obviously started with the Superman movies, and I was a kid. I was like, 8, 9, 10, 11, whatever, watching them through the 80s then again. Love his take on the character, and love. I've never seen the fourth movie, but I've seen the first three.
Yeah, you don't need to see the fourth.
You don't need to see
Yeah,
the fourth,
this is
so.
what I'm always. Yeah,
No.
but I will check it out sometime. It's just the idea that there's another Christopher Reeve movie out there is kind of cool. But I've heard it's dross. So
Talking about that, has anybody seen the Richard Donner cut of Superman 2?
I haven't watched it. I have it, but I haven't watched it. Have you?
It's very good. I think it would have been a better film. Half the film is completely different, but I think it's very good. I mean, going back to what you were saying about the fight and Man of Steel and his choices and why they didn't take it elsewhere.
Yeah.
Superman 2 was kind of the same until they decided to go to the Fortress of Solitude. So there still was death and destruction in New York.
Yeah, there was, but there was a certain amount of it, and he, I think, the whole time he was trying to keep away from that, and basically he spent most of the time during that fight trying to protect the people, and then he realised, look, this just doesn't work.
You can clearly see that, so I can understand where you guys are coming from. I didn't understand the whole everyone's kind of outcry of there's so many people died. That happens in other films, and nobody says boo about it.
Well, the only thing I would say to that is there's only one reason, seemingly only one reason why that was part of the film, and that was to necessitate the sequel. And the Batman v Superman, the whole purpose of the Batman character, because that's really what the trailers are playing up on it.
I don't think they had that planned back then.
I don't think they did either. I know they say they did.
Yeah.
I distrust. I think I got burned with Green Lantern. That thing of where they really didn't have a clue. I mean, Ryan Reynolds has said, obviously recently, they didn't have a script in place. And then when DC come out, I have no faith in DC's movie branch because Marvel has a successful franchise which they've carefully built. And then DC announces, we're bringing out 84 movies. We're bringing them out we're bringing out 7 every month for the next 7 years. We've and you're like, oh god, you guys are just throwing crap at the wall and hoping something sticks.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they don't actually have a plan for the majority of it. They're just saying, okay, we're going to have a film with this character, and we'll eventually get a writer to come in and work on it, and we'll work on getting a director for it, and then we'll throw in some people to do it. I think one of the people who has been very devoted to trying to put something on the big screen that represents the story itself has been Ryan Reynolds, and he's been one of the front runners for creating the closest interpretation of a character to the original material as we've seen for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that is just because he's such a fan, or the fact that there's been so many failures in the past with the first time that he tried Deadpool and with the Green Lantern film.
Yeah, but talking about that, it wasn't because of Ryan Reynolds the film got made. It was because of whoever leaked the test footage, which has now ended up being Tim Skyline, the actual director, on that. So even though Ryan Reynolds is kind of getting a lot of the hype on it, it wasn't him. He pushed it after that. So he did, and
he did.
Because of that, now there's now going to be an X-Force film.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with the whole thing. The one other thing about Deadpool I didn't like was that they used with the test footage that was out. That was the start of the whole film. And
I'm glad they went with that because it got that out of the way.
I understand that. It's making such a big deal of it. I mean, at the start, the credits you have him in the car and he's fighting with him in the car in slow motion, and then we just ignore that and then go on there about 20 minutes on the film, maybe 15 minutes on the film. That's kind of like why did they show it in the credits if they're going to go do this whole scene then here? That was my whole point on it. It was like why didn't you just start the film with that? And then
I think that's just to take more on the See, I think part of the way that they filmed it and the way they split the film up, a lot of people I've heard, complaining about how it jumped back and forth too much. It was we're in the present time, we're in the past, we're in the present, we're in the past, we're in a different past, we're in the different present. It's kind of jumping all over the place. But I think part of it is it reflects the mentality of the character as well, and that's basically how his thought process works.
No, I think you just described X-Men: Days of Future Past there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had no problem with Deadpool at all. I thought that it was really well done and really well kind of written. So.
I liked the jumping around because I think if they had told it in a linear fashion, we would have had to wait through the origin phase, which probably would have added up to like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Of just a guy getting cancer. That would have been that's a long haul. I mean, one of the criticisms, now I don't agree with this criticism, but one of the criticisms of the first season of Breaking Bad
was the cancer thing?
Yeah, it's very slow, and I was quite engrossed from the start. But a lot of people who come into it afterwards kind of are like, yeah, you have to wait till season 2 before it gets good.
Yeah, season 1. Sorry, I don't mean to jump on.
No, you're fine, but that's basically it. I'm just saying, so I liked the non-linear storytelling in Deadpool. It was very... Anytime I see non-linear storytelling, I always think of Lost, which I loved. Yeah. I think you can get away with, people... You can jump around. People will follow it,
Yeah.
Well, I'm just looking in the chat here, Frankie, as well. And Kelder's actually brought up a point when it comes to the X-Force film and the new characters that he's Brian Reynolds has promised in the next film with a Cable character.
Yes.
Who do you guys think would be a good Cable?
I don't know, but my battery's about to die here, so give me a second.
There's an extension cable to your left.
Okay, talking about Cable, what do you call your man? John Hamm?
John Hamm?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well,
what about you, Michael?
I would go with, because he's campaigning on it on Twitter, and he's been campaigning. You know Stephen Lang from Avatar?
Yeah, I've heard him as well. I've seen someone's done up a picture of both of them together as Cable.
Ah, okay, right. I like Stephen Lang. I've been a fan of his. Wow, he did it. He was on so long. He was on a great TV show back in the 80s called Crime Story, which was one of the Michael Mann shows that he was doing around the same time as Miami Vice and all those things. And then he was on a show called The Fugitive about 50 years ago, playing the one-armed man and all that. Great actor. Then he did Avatar. I think that guy is badass. He's badass.
Oh, he really is. And see, part of it as well is, I think, okay, this is probably going to sound a little strange, the take on this, but there are a few characters that would look quite beefed up and suitable to a certain representation of Cable, maybe the Rob Liefeld kind of interpretation of him. But the reality of it is, this is supposed to be coming down from the lineage of Alex Summers. A very lean looking family.
Good
tree.
point. Good point.
I think it actually suits to say, this could be somebody who could be representative of the Summers family tree and actually have a character that's playing Cyclops who looks very similar to him. So if you go with somebody who's going to be a completely different physique, if you were to put somebody looking more like Colossus playing Cable, it's not really going to fit in if you put his father standing beside him in a film at some point and you realise, hold on, that's, what happened between those generations.
Never thought of that, actually. Never thought of that. That's actually a very, very good point. Never thought of it. So, yeah, I'm agreeing with that. I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah, so that's why I think Stephen Lang would actually be quite a good character for it.
Who is Stephen Lang, by the way?
Are you in the chat? I sent the IMDb link. Can you call that up, Frankie? No?
Yeah, I can see that.
If you click on that, you'll see his picture and his list of credits.
All right, yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, the funny feeling that's who we were talking about when we started talking about Cable, so I apologise for that. I think he would be good, but maybe he's just too old.
Well, no, that's supposed to be the representation, though. The intention is to show a character that's actually so questionably old, and then realise that it's supposed to be somebody who's just completely out of time.
True. I really hope they do Cable good. I mean, I didn't like what they did with Bishop um, in Days of Future Past.
They didn't really do anything
They
with
didn't.
Bishop.
I
It's all
vaguely,
He was just there.
yeah.
Let's show the
Just-
the big guy doing nothing. So hopefully that's going to run into him being in the X Force film, going after Cable, as what he's supposed to do. Really,
Mm. I wonder what we haven't actually just while we're talking about this, Kelder in the chat as well. I'm just wondering who he would actually choose
Yeah,
to
I
be
was just
one of the
wondering the
Cable
same thing.
characters.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
we
I'm just
do have
actually
a bit
reading
of variety.
Kelder stuff there. There's a couple of things I was going to say. I actually do miss Smallville as well. And it's something I have planned on maybe rewatching, but I'm going to pick certain episodes from each season.
Hmm. Oh yeah, actually that's a fair point as well. How they're going to tell the Cable story, because I mean the Cable character was quite interesting when they introduced him into the comic books. It was this guy who just came out of nowhere. He was obviously a hardened warrior,
Yeah.
a soldier from another time, but I don't think he really even had the idea of from another time whenever it first started out. And a lot of the backstory was introduced, same way that with Wolverine, you didn't get most of the backstory in Wolverine until about a good 20 odd years after the character
Yeah.
first came out. But straight away we get the origin story from him and such. So are they going to jump straight into this is who Cable is, this is where he comes from, or are we just going to see some badass showing up in the film and starting to generate a bit of backstory from there?
I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, that's very much the case with Wolverine and other characters as well. They often don't. I mean, that's true across the board, but even minor characters and villains and so forth as well. You don't find out for years until some writer just decides, okay, I'm going to bring in, whatever character it happens to be and give them some sort of a backstory. In the movie, you don't need to know very much. See, it's hard to know. I mean, I remember reading Cable's early appearances back when they were new. But then I'm out of touch with Marvel going back over 20 years, so I mean, that's
Yeah,
my only memory of the character is from back then. And yeah, he was just this badass big soldier guy that we didn't know much about him.
I think that was part of the allure of Cable. You didn't really know much about him. He just appeared and did his thing, and then the whole search across time with him and Bishop fighting each other. That's what really appealed to me about it. So hopefully they'll kind of do that justice in the future. Really, but I would like to see more Bishop. Really on that. And talking about that, I mean, is anyone actually even looking forward to Apocalypse? I mean, it's gone from looking like a Power Rangers movie to a grown-up Power Rangers movie.
Yeah, exactly.
I am, because I mean I've loved the last couple of X-Men movies, and I love all the X-Men movies, even X-Men 3 for all its flaws.
That was
I love the
terrible.
Power Ranger films.
Do you know, this is a sad story, but I actually remember going to see the Power Rangers the movie.
That's sad.
I was the only person in the cinema, but I actually really enjoyed it. I was in love with the Pink Ranger.
Who played the Pink Ranger?
Couldn't tell you her name now.
Power Rangers. I'm just going to look this up because Power Rangers
thought-
movie. When was
Yeah.
that movie?
Oh, I was around, what,
Many
92?
years ago. That was, you were talking at least 20 years ago.
Yeah.
20 to 23 years ago, somewhere in that time span.
And
I
liked it.
see it here, right. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie, 1995. So yeah, 21 years ago.
Yeah.
The Pink Ranger was played by Amy Jo Johnson. I thought
Yeah.
that was... She's a regular on one of my favourite shows of recent years. Did you watch Flashpoint, the SWAT team show?
Flashpoint I never seen, but I think I might check it out now that she's in it.
She's one of the leads in it, and
Yeah.
it's a fantastic show. It's a Canadian show about a SWAT team working in Toronto. Really intelligently written, and she's fabulous. And that's the only thing I know her from. I've never seen an episode of Power Rangers. I know nothing about it, but I always see her being interviewed and being asked about her time on. And I thought she was the Pink Power Ranger on it. Yeah, she was. Yeah.
Yeah, no, she definitely was. Going by what Kelder's saying there, which was a good time that we went under this as well, because it seemed to come up at the same time. I don't think they'll reference Cable in Age of Apocalypse at all.
Yeah, I saw that question as well. I agree. I don't see it happening somehow, just for various.
Yeah, They didn't do much with Bishop, so I don't think it's even going to be a thing. I think Cable's going to be a Fox. But no, X-Men's a Fox property anyway.
It is. No, it's the same.
Same property,
Yeah.
yeah, well, it's possible. I don't think they will, but it's possible.
It's just a shame, really, because when you look back at the history of it, Cable is basically supposed to be the person who is taken away to one side so that at some point in the future he will be able to fight Apocalypse. He is the one person that Apocalypse is scared of, or is supposed to be scared of. The only person that can take him down. So if you then have a story with Apocalypse and you don't have the only person in the Marvel Universe who was supposed to be able to stop him, how else are they going to take that story? Where are they going to take that story? Do they have to water the character down? Do they have to increase the powers of other characters? Do they have to come at it from a completely different point of view? Hello,
Yeah.
Tom's there. Hi.
Tom, what are you at?
As you member of the chat.
At the minute.
I'm going to type hello back.
I am the real Scyther in the chat, just to let everybody know I'm the real Scyther in the chat.
The real. I'm saying nothing.
Yeah. Well, we did say when we had a few people coming in that it was going to be interactive chat. There could be some interesting takes.
All I want to say is, will the real sister please stand up?
I don't have my hair dyed blonde anymore, but yes, I will. Just
say nothing at all, but
look at these hands. These
I'm not
hands are
even going to
perfectly
guess who
fine.
that is. Obviously, it's somebody that knows you, Tom. One of maybe your 50 followers.
It's possible, yeah.
Probably.
Somebody's come in to say hi to us.
Yeah.
But, I really see that's part of the problem that I have with the Age of Apocalypse. It's great that they're bringing in some of the older characters, some of the more powerful characters. They did the whole storyline with Magneto, and yeah, that was great. And it had so many different levels, and it had the original civil rights side of things, and then they kind of transferred that into like gay rights in a way, or sexuality.
I'm sorry,
gender
I clicked on the flashpoint thing that Michael put up. Sorry,
but it's the fact that it just looks so damn cheesy. It really does. I mean, I've seen cosplay. I'm just going to purely go to the character of Apocalypse in this one, and just say I have seen cosplayers out there do a much better job of this character. And yes, okay, we have to have an actor in doing it in a certain way as well, but I mean, there's supposed to be a menacing presence to this guy. You're supposed to be scared to be around him. I mean, when they originally brought the character out, he was so large in stature that to even be close to him was scary. And now you have a Power Ranger villain that you're fighting, and you're like, what do you have to come in? You don't need the X-Men, you need the Power Rangers. Come in and bring out their Zords and shit, and
Well, I was reading those. That was my time getting all the Marvel comics to the first appearances of that character in X Factor and the various crossovers and stuff. And yeah, he was massive and imposing, and it really was one of those times where, and it happens from, I love it when a villain shows up and you actually are reading it and you're thinking, how can they ever defeat this villain?
Yes. No, that's. I mean, we're starting to suddenly see films coming out now where what would have been a long-paced story in the comic books, where they created this seemingly unstoppable person that they eventually overcame. Now we're just seeing people coming out that are watered-down versions of them, so that you can get a happy ending to it within the space of an hour.
Okay.
And it's not really the same. So I think when it comes to superhero films, especially if you look at things like Iron Man and stuff, when they've started working more on character progression, and you've got things like the Civil War storyline coming out, I would prefer those types of stories over the old-fashioned X-Men, who's the strongest and how are we going to take down the big bad guy.
Okay.
I think that's kind of played out at this point, unfortunately.
It probably is, and there's something very rewarding about character-driven stories anyway, so yeah, it's much better to get invested in those, I mean, I'm really looking forward to Civil War, like, that's
Oh, yeah.
I mean, really looking forward to it, but that's because I'm really invested in those characters, and I feel it's been built up sufficiently over the last few Marvel Studios movies.
Yeah. No, I would definitely say that the Civil War one is one that the majority of people I would know of are actually looking forward to, as opposed to the other superhero films that come out. We all want to see the Batman v Superman to see, if it's going to be a massive train wreck or not. But
Yes.
straight afterwards, when we get Civil War, we're hoping that we're actually going to get a film that we can sink our teeth into. We're going to have characters that, even now, from people that I know that are just as big as geeks as we are, they're starting to take sides. Are you Team Cap? Are you Team Iron Man?
Yeah.
I really don't think people's falling for that.
You don't?
No, I mean, maybe I'm out of the loop on things, It's like, who's going to win, Superman or Batman? Neither. We know that nobody's going to win on that, because people know what's going to happen afterwards,
Well, have you seen the original storyline?
Yeah, I have it. I mean, I love the original storyline of Civil War. I mean, to me it looks like Avengers 3. And that's not a bad thing.
That's not a bad thing. You took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah,
That's not a bad thing.
And I'm looking forward to it, and I hope it's absolutely fantastic. I'm sure it's going to be another $1 billion movie. So I think it is. But hey, that's my 2 cents on it.
But I think people are. I mean, I see it on Twitter. I see the Team Cap. I see the hashtags coming up. I think people are entering into the spirit of it. I think it's certainly a talking point, and kind of, but in a fun way, which is probably what they intend. And it's all just PR for the movie. So
exactly, and like Frankie, you're saying, nobody's falling for it. I don't think it's really a case of having to fall for something. I think it's a case of
that was a bad choice of words, falling for it. Really, so it was. But I don't think people's really going, I'm Team Captain, or I'm, whatever the other one is.
Oh, I am. I'm definitely Team Cap all the way.
Yeah, we can see that.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it. I've always liked Captain America. So I'm really hoping it's going to be a really good film and not a big kind of letdown.
I think I might be having some problems with the stream here, guys, so I apologise if we do have any kind of slowdown or anything like that. It doesn't seem to be showing up on Skype, but I think the laptop's kind of doing something weird and is not reacting the same way it should do.
Yeah, I think it's the audio's fine anyway. I can see that it's all froze on the broadcast, but
yeah, I'm trying to sort that out at the same time, so I apologise for that. Are there any other films that you guys are looking forward to apart from Civil War? Because there's quite a few that we have coming out over the next year.
Yeah, I've actually called up a list. I'll put it in the chat because Gambit and Doctor Strange, and you were on about this earlier. I think Tom, you had said you had a list. I just found the Den of Geek list and I just threw it up there. And when it comes to Gambit, for instance, or Suicide Squad, I haven't really registered that much that Gambit's even coming out.
Yeah. I gotta admit, I'm the same. Shannon Tatum for...
Yeah, that's the reason why I don't want it to come out.
You're opposed to the film? Are you gonna be basically just fighting this all the way?
No, it's just him. If they bring in somebody else, then, I might actually like it. I used to like Gambit years ago, but they've done nothing with him for years, so I'm not really kind of too fussed on it at all. And Kelder's right there as well. Doctor Strange absolutely looks good.
Yeah, I am, I suppose, more excited for Doctor Strange, but it's because it's that bit further away. I don't really think about it very much. I think constantly about Civil War. I'm Civil War's coming up, and X-Men, and they're both on my Twitter feed a lot because people are posting articles. Yeah. Doctor Strange, doesn't really register that much with me yet.
I think they've really missed out on a perfect opportunity, which was in the last X-Men film, Days of Future Past. There were so many characters to introduce from that, including, as Frankie said, Bishop, who didn't get fleshed out in any way, and also the Gambit character, where originally the Gambit character was the one that they thought, when they went back, was going to be the one that did the assassination. So they could have even introduced Gambit in that film and given it some kind of lead up to the film, but they didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't go
Yeah.
anywhere with that. I mean, they wasted that opportunity. I think it's quite a shame, really, when you think about it.
No, Gambit was definitely wasted. You're right there. I mean, what we got to see what in the club and then in the back alley.
Yeah, that
That
was
was it?
pretty much it.
Yeah.
And that was from. Was that in Days of Future Past, or was that in the Origins? Maybe the Wolverine Origins, I think, wasn't it?
I was just actually about to ask what that was on. Was it? For some strange reason, I'm thinking about X-Men Last Stand for some stupid reason. But it was
Well, we
either
had-
that or it was Wolverine Origins. Sorry, Michael, go ahead.
Well, he was in Origins. He was in the Wolverine, the first Wolverine.
Yes.
That's what I was at.
Yeah, Taylor Kitsch from Friday Night Lights, and was it Battleship or something? Battleship. Yeah, Battleship. I haven't called up. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of that film, and I'd rather not hear of that film. I've stayed well away from that, thankfully.
I saw it in the cinema. I think I liked it.
It was
silly,
okay.
but It was okay.
it's
Yeah.
You think you liked it? That's what the Man in
Yeah.
Black told you.
After
they flash you-
recollect.
And talking about Battleship, immediately what I think about with the CGI and stuff like that is I'm thinking about Independence Day.
Yeah,
Which I've never seen. I never saw that.
You need to watch Independence Day.
I don't really think
Just-
Independence Day holds up.
Leave
anymore,
now and go watch Independence Day.
though. No,
You need
I'll be
popcorn
back
and
in-
you need loads of Coke.
don't do
Back
that
to
to him,
our-
Frankie.
You know,
That's not fair.
But I loved Independence Day. The hype for that film was so perfect
Oh, it
back in
was
the 90s.
brilliant, yeah.
Yeah.
I had seen the first trailer, the teaser trailer, and I went, I don't want to see any more of this film. I'm just going to go see it. Give it to me now. Simple as that. And I've never had a reaction to any other film after that like that. So I'm really looking forward to this sequel, prequel, reboot, whatever it's going to be. Really looking forward to it.
I think I didn't bother. I wasn't. I think when the trailers came out and when that came out, was that 95 or something like that? Was it or something?
Yeah, it was 96, I think it was.
Yeah. I saw it and I was like, oh, they're just doing V, and I'm a huge fan of V
Yeah.
from the 80s.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
was
I think that's why I liked it.
Okay.
You know, because it ripped off all those films. And even there was a bit of Close Encounters in there as well. The way the ship arrives and stuff like that. You know, and then you had obviously the family story and things like that on it. You know, which I really enjoyed it for the fact that you didn't need to be sitting there thinking too much about it. You just sat and enjoyed it.
Yeah, but it was supposed to be tongue in cheek the whole way through.
Yeah, which a lot of people don't realise as well. Like, you know, and that's why I'm looking forward to the second one. I mean, everyone ripped the shit out of it for the virus at the end, but at the end of the day, as you says, it's a tongue in cheek.
You can do
Yeah.
anything with a MacBook.
Oh, aye, definitely. You know, but they left one small thing out, you know, which should have been put in there. Apple's not compatible with anything. Do you know what I mean? So that was the big. If they had to put in a Windows laptop or something, yeah, it would have worked. You know, that was the only downfall.
Really,
of the
Windows, it would have crashed before it actually reached the alien ship. I don't know. I think we're kind of getting too far into the operating system talk there. You know, you only have to find a few people out there, and then you're gonna have the avid viewers just sitting there going, "No, Unix. I quite like Unix. I think I'll even take I'll take Linux. Take Linux, Unix, any of those, that'll work." But no, I'm reading through the chat at the same time, and because we kind of do bounce back and forth between a lot of the topics that we're chatting about as well. It's not a terrible thing, you know. This isn't supposed to be anything professional in any way, but they're just chatting about Leto as the Joker. Now, Michael, you said you hadn't really looked too much into the Suicide Squad film when it's coming out,
No.
and one of the things that they do have in that, I don't know, should I spoil this for you in any way?
Go on. No, go on. 'Cause I'm not as invested in the DC movies, so like
Right.
it's different to the DC TV shows, which I love. So no, go ahead.
Okay, well, you will see a cameo appearance from Batman in the
Okay.
Suicide Squad film. There was a bit of footage that was leaked at some point last year, which is a few scenes being shot of Batman chasing after the Joker. Now, given the Batman v Superman film that's coming out and the iconic picture of the Robin suit that has, you know, the writing all over it,
which they've just come out and said that might not be Jason Todd that everybody thinks.
Yes, but they have said it definitely is Robin.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that has also been mentioned, especially with the Suicide Squad, is something along the lines of if anybody here has been following Gotham.
Yes,
obviously
I'm not up to date, however. So I'm a bit
I haven't
friends.
watched it since I lost interest halfway through season 1.
Well,
Really?
The whole Mooney Fish storyline, I think I stopped watching it after she took her eye out.
well, you've missed out on the Joker storyline then, haven't you?
Yeah, I'll do like the last episode I seen was when he just came onto it. So I plan on watching it at some point, but at the moment I'm not really kind of too fussed.
I honestly think the Joker storyline was the best thing to happen to that show
That was the first 3-4 episodes.
in the second series.
Yeah, I've seen those. Now I'm way behind, but I've seen those and I thought they were brilliant. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
very, very, very shocked by the way it ended.
Yes, I was very surprised by that, but I do think that in taking that as an example, it's possibly something that could lead into the Batman v Superman film, where some people have stated that maybe the Joker that gave the message on the Batman suit was somebody in the past of Batman. He's seen better days. He has a whole past behind him, and they've said it's possibly not Jason Todd, where they've killed off the Robin character. If anybody's followed the comic books from that, but there is a possibility, and this is one actually I think might be taken from it, is that the character that had played Robin at the time was influenced by the Joker in a way where he has effectively become the new Joker.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And that could still be the fact that the Joker writing on the Robin suit could have been Robin getting out of the Robin suit and writing it on it himself. It's possible that kind of take, because they're saying one thing about the Suicide Squad is they're trying to say that the Joker that we're seeing here, because you've had so many different Jokers throughout the film history. You've had the gangster, you've had the madman, you've had all the different variations, and this one's really just the scumlord, really, Joker. And I don't think this is a good representation of the Joker, but I think part of the explanation for this is supposed to be it's not actually the Joker, it's the next version of the Joker, it's the next generation of the Joker, in which case that's why I think there could be a tie-in somewhere that this is actually possibly one of the previous Robins that has taken up the persona of the Joker, and it's a large issue for Batman where he's created this person, he's created this character that is not capable of going out and wreaking so much destruction by training him over the years. And that's just a random take that I have on it, but I think
Interesting.
to take it from that point of view, it would tie the Suicide Squad film, the Batman v Superman film, especially that scene that you do see. I think it would tie the two films together quite well and give us possible other routes to move away from Batman v Superman, rather than just here's a Justice film afterwards.
Yeah. Also, as well, on that note, as you're saying about it, Keldar there makes a good point. I think he's right there. On the DC animated film, Assault on Arkham is going to be very much the film.
You think? Sorry?
What Keldar has said there about the animated film Assault on Arkham, that's pretty much going to be the Suicide Squad film.
Yeah, no.
Oh, the same. Oh, okay, right, okay.
Yeah, I think there was some talk about that. They were trying to say it's not, but I think it's far too similar, especially the introduction of Batman as a cameo, because that's really what happened in the animated film as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be an interesting year, I think, that we're going to see ahead. And I've just realised that we had said originally that this was going to be streaming for somewhere in the region of about half an hour, because we're
half an hour to an hour.
Exactly. So the whole idea that we've had of this bit of banter series is we're going to have 6 episodes. Today has been episode 1, and it's just been getting to know the people that we have here. We're going to have a few more people that are going to be getting introduced over the next few weeks, and hopefully a lot more people getting involved in this as well. Having a bit more chat. And I'm hoping everybody will join us for the next one. We'll be doing this again next Sunday. We were a little late getting started today. We were supposed to be starting at about 4 o'clock. We had some technical difficulties, so hopefully it'll be 4 o'clock next week again as well. And I've quite enjoyed this today.
Yeah.
It's been fun. It's been fun. Yeah, as a pilot or as the first of 6 pilots or whatever. It's actually come together pretty okay, except for that tech issue at the start. It's
Yeah.
I like the way Michael said there. We've got six goals to get it right.
Yeah, exactly. And then we have all the webisodes that we're gonna have in between, where Frankie wanders off swearing, and we're gonna have to get an artist to come in and cover those as well.
excellent.
And,
Just don't you take a heart attack.
or we'll have to introduce other characters in the background as well, like Stephen, and his take on the world and such. So yeah, we've so much more to introduce in this.
I don't think we'll see Stephen on this, but
Possibly not, yeah. But in the meantime, I'd just like to thank everybody that showed up and everybody's taken part in the chat today. And I think probably as we've now kind of run well over an hour at this point, it's probably a good idea.
I see we're getting a song request. I mean, I can sing it.
Yeah, Michael can sing away. I mean, if you want something there, Dasher, Michael can sing for you.
That's the closest, closest we can.
I see you're
I-
gonna give them mixed signals now. You've just told them that it's just a chat show, and now you're telling them that somebody can sing them.
I'm gonna say, yeah.
Well-
I'm having flashbacks. The last experience I had of doing live broadcasting like this was about 7-8 years ago. On a Sunday night, I would do a TV theme-based show, and I would take requests. But it was like 90 minutes of just TV themes, which is my thing. I love TV themes. So I'm having flashbacks here, taking requests. If somebody wants to Batman animated theme song, I can.
Well,
I can
actually,
dig it out.
I've got a request. You any good with the flute?
Can we just talk about music?
I was actually just gonna suggest the taxi theme tune. I was hoping for a little bit of that.
Why did you mention Taxi? I watched it. Why did you know? Did you see my Twitter feed or something? No.
I stalking you, Michael. So yes.
Actually, no. But in saying that, it's probably a good idea as well to let people know we don't have any information on the Twitch channel as such right now. But if anybody wants to follow us, we do have. Sorry, I'm throwing up there like that. We do have the Twitter channel. Michael has his own. If he can just add that in as well.
Yeah, I'll do it. But that's really weird. You see, I watched an episode of Taxi for the first time in 8 years last night. It's just bizarre that you mentioned Taxi.
Well, that's great.
Yeah,
there's again there.
There's my Twitter for anybody who wants to, and it's mainly comic books and TV stuff that I post. That's reviews and links, and that's constant,
Yeah, I'll be adding that myself as well.
Let me just see here. That's it there. That should work, shouldn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is literally what I posted about. That's literally what I posted about Taxi about 7 hours ago. Well, I watched it last night, but it was on a timer, so it only posted this morning.
Oh right.
Yeah, if I could play it's one of my favorite theme tunes. Yeah, funnily enough. Yeah.
It's definitely a great mellow piece that I often fall asleep to. It's great.
Beautiful piece of music, yeah. Beautiful piece of music.
Very well.
Okay, so we're wrapping up. I think is that everything we need to?
I think it is. Yeah. What I'll do is, if anybody's interested, like I say, follow us on Twitter. There, I'm going to try and set up a few more media options that we have just to give people updates on this. But again, for anybody that's joined us, we're going to be back here next Sunday, 4:00, and for a bit more banter. And I hope everyone's enjoyed it so far. So that's a goodbye from me and a goodbye from
them.
Goodbye from them, yeah.
That's it. Well, thanks very much. I've enjoyed this chat, so we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.